Happy Friday, sixth graders. Today we are going to start our work on level one questions, which go right along with our reading skills. I feel this is a very, very important part of becoming a historical inquiry type of person. Inquiry means questions. And while we're reading or listening or watching something, we should always be asking questions in our mind about what we're reading or seeing. Uh, And that questioning process, I think, is very important to understanding it thoroughly. So, in today's lesson, we're going to start this whole idea. And you're going to hear me talk about level one questions a lot over the next couple of days. Now, you basically know what these questions are. You've dealt with them practically your whole school career. Questions that start with who, what, when, where, and why. Now, asking these questions and answering them helps us to understand what we're reading. But we really want to try to avoid level one questions exclusively. We just don't want to ask level one questions. We want to move further up the line and ask questions that are really thought provoking. And so to do this, the best way I know how is just to start out by reading this two paragraph essay that I've created uh, to kind of get us started down the road. And the two paragraph essay looks like this. You'll have a sheet of paper in front of you, and this is the reading that we have. Okay? It's just a really generic, bland, two paragraph little essay, I guess, no other way to say it, that talks about some of Minnesota's early history, especially our geography and early people. So once I'm done with this, your teacher will hand this out and you will read it very carefully. And there are some very specific instructions on it. One of those instructions um, is to circle a word from that reading that you don't understand or know. Now, there's no shame in not understanding a word, not comprehending it, not knowing a definition. It's okay. Good readers question those sorts of things and make little notes and come back to it later. Now, once you're done reading it carefully, and maybe you'll have to read it twice, you're going to go back and create a question for each of the level one question words on the list. Now, here's the key point. Make sure that the questions that you create can be answered from that two paragraph essay. Vital. Also, you don't need to answer the questions. You're just going to create the questions. We'll deal with the answers to those questions on Monday when I talk about this in a little more depth. And simply, when you're done with this, take your worksheet, stow it away in your yellow folder until Monday, and then we'll continue to add to this. So I'll just kind of run back here to the document and go through it so that there's no further questions. So here's the two paragraphs themselves. Remember to circle a word that you don't understand. And then down here are the directions for what you should do. Read the paragraph carefully. Don't skip around. Don't skip words or sentences. Okay. Circle one word that you don't know the definition. Create a question. This is the meat and potatoes of the assignment. Create a question that is answered by these paragraphs using these question words: who, what, when, where, and how many. And just like what Mr. Mangone did earlier in the week with his language assignment, make sure that the question that you create is a question that has a capital letter to start and a question mark at the end indicating that it's an actual question. So on the second page or the back side of yours, I've created a little text box that goes along with each question. So you'll simply, uh, on yours, you're going to write, but I'll just type for the sake of ease here. Who was the first governor of Minnesota? Question mark. Now, this is a good question. I've spelled everything correctly. But the example that I give is problematic because there's no answer up here that deals with the first governor of Minnesota. right? So we want to avoid things like that. Our answers must come from these two paragraphs. Good. It looks like a good question. It's got that question word to start. It's got the capital letter and the proper punctuation. But the bad thing is that it doesn't relate back to the text above. But for our example, this is kind of what we're going to do. So you're going to use a who question, a what question, a when question, a where question, and a how many question. And you're going to write those down nice and neat in that box. If you have the need for more space, perhaps I will change the size of these. So when I print out, yeah, you'll have more space, but you should be able to fit in what you need. Uh, JVA kids, if you're watching this, you're going to get this document in your uh, in the folder for today, and you'll just type yours in. No need to turn anything in; just hold on to it until Monday. So, if there's any questions, feel free to ask your teacher in class. They know this stuff. They're going to read it probably right along with you, so they'll be a good source of information. But I expect good questions, and I will talk to you more on Monday about what this whole thing means. Have a grand day.